Hello, I'm Janica Bojađieva and you're watching TelecomTV. As we know, nowadays, large enterprises of all kinds are undergoing digital transformation. This includes communications service providers, which are now striving to become digital service providers. To talk more about this tendency, I'm speaking today with Chris Holmes, VP for Telecom, Media and Technology in the EMEA region at ServiceNow. Hi Chris, thank you for joining us. So first off, what does being a digital service provider mean to you?
So as I talk to my customers, I think there's probably three things about being a DSP, a digital service provider. Yeah, I think first up is about that customer engagement layer, giving their customers the channel of choice to interact with them. I think is super important. I think the second is horizontal platforms. Overcoming the challenges of the siloed infrastructure, even the siloed organization. And then thirdly, it's the automation that goes end to end that makes those customer journeys as seamless as possible.
So where do you think we are on the digital transformation journey?
So as I look at my customers across EMEA, everybody's got a clearly defined end state. You can see that in the annual report. So everybody knows where they want to go. I think the differences I see across EMEA is really, how far down that transition are they? Some are still in thinking and planning stage. Others have, taken the first steps. And there's certainly a cohort of operators who are, really forging ahead. And I think the characteristics that I've noticed of those operators are, the ones where they've started to automate, they've started to simplify, and they've done a really good job of being able to offer that channel of choice for their customers, certainly in that consumer space. So, but what's really setting them aside is there's a driving force. There are people in that organization who understand the urgency and the need to change, and are really driving that organization to modernize and to give to their customers what is really going to make them successful in the future.
These are some great observations there. So what positive changes do you see service providers making today?
So automation is probably one of the hottest topics, I would say. We've been through an early wave of RPA, of robotic process automation that, quite honestly, I don't think delivered much value. It got very complex very quickly. It was great for point solutions, but a lot of the customers I talk to are actually starting to automate operations for sure. So I think that's definitely one area that people are super focused on, and there is a lot of progress. And, that's not just about optimization of the processes. It's also about being able to do closed loop automation and, almost proactive and then into preemptive type of situations to do that fix on fail before people actually understand what's going on. So, down at the network layer and the operations layer, we're seeing some great progress there. I think then the other area, and certainly in the consumer space, there's been massive progress made around customer engagement. So, chatbots at the front end, mobile apps have been amazing to reduce the contact into the operators and also allowed the customers to interact how they want to interact. So certainly in the B2C, in the consumer space, some really good progress, I think, around providing that channel of choice and that enhanced customer experience. I think in the B2B space, we've seen some progress there, but there's a lot more to go around that friction-free engagement to allow enterprises to interact with the communication service providers in a much more engaging way. So we've got the engagement layer at the front end, the operations layer at the back end, and then you've got the bit in the middle, which really requires the sort of bridging of OSS and BSS. You need to bring your customer information together. You need to bring your operations information into that platform, and then join that together to be able to start to really do those end-to-end customer journeys in a very, very simplified, automated way.
That's very interesting. And as we know, many service providers are looking to new complex enterprise services to create new revenue. How ready are they?
Given everything we've just discussed around, that shift in mindset to openness and that ability to have horizontal platforms. So again, the customers I work with who are making the most progress are the ones who are starting to adopt that openness. So, you'll see in new ICT-based services like hosted security. I actually see a few of my customers moving to provide industry-specific solutions. So e-health is a good example as a way of going to market with a solution. So, I think good progress is being made. It's probably not as fast as everybody would like, because the growth for the communication service providers is obviously going to come from these new IT-based hosted services. Certainly in the B2B world, again, is where we see a lot of that growth coming from. And adoption is always hampered somewhat by the integration into legacy. So, customers of mine are taking one of two approaches, and we see, some big greenfield builds, and either the whole stack or just a single product in that stack. And then more often what we see is the overlay model, where customers are putting a layer above the legacy and the complexity. So a bit of an abstraction layer, doing the process automation in that layer that then frees them up to offer those new services out to their customers in a simplified way. So never easy, quite honestly, and progress probably not as fast as people would really hope. But again, the customers who are really driving this are starting to make good progress. But there's still quite a few who are stuck trying to work out, how to aggregate their data, how to improve their data, and then how to do that automation and that abstraction layer. So still a fair way to go for quite a few of the operators, I'd say.
It definitely sounds that there is still work to be done, but there is progress already being made. So looking ahead, where will the telecoms industry be in 5 years' time?
That's quite a tricky question, and let me frame it in, I am an optimist, right? I've been in this industry for over 25 years. I've seen the massive changes and the progress that this industry has been through. And, when you look what it's enabled in terms of our society. So, I think in 5 years' time, with the current uncertainties, probably going to be a bit of an anchor on progress, but let's hope not, for not too long. I do think, those journeys will be completed. The operators, will find a way to, develop those open standards, to implement that automation, and to provide that unmatched customer experience that will, delight their customers, but also drive them forward in terms of new revenues and simplification of the operation.
This was all very interesting, Chris. It was a pleasure to hear your views on the telco's journey towards becoming digital service providers. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.